All right, welcome. Another episode of Symcast. And today I'm honored to have Dr. Walden and Dr. Saltz with me, two fantastic and very well known plastic surgeons. I was looking at their profiles, and it would take forever to list everything that they do and they have done for the industry. And really, I I decided that what I'm going to look for is all the different things that they really have in common. And both Dr. Walden and Dr. Salt are leaders in the industry, in the aesthetic surgery industry, and they both have served as presidents of the society, the Aesthetic Society. They're both internationally recognized, and they travel so much around the world, spreading new information and new procedures and techniques. Um, One of the things that they both also have is that they have a very innovative approach. And one of the reasons that I'm highlighting this point as well is because as great Symplast clients that they have been with us for 3, 4, 5 years, um, we love working with them because they also have that aspect of focusing on patient care, and patient care for us is dear to our hearts. Um, and finally, all this is in the name of continue that advancing of the field, which it has been going through a tremendous transition in the last few years. And me being fairly new, 6 years in this field, I can say that it's not the same as when I started. So I can only imagine for both of you. So, Dr. Saltz, welcome to Symcast. Thank you so much for spending this evening with us, and and I just wanted to get you started with one of the things that our prospects have the biggest challenge on digesting. That is switching from your EMR to another EMR. That's a pretty tough decision to make.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me, Facundo, and to be here next to Jennifer Walden. It's a real honor. We're very good friends. We worked for many years together at the Aesthetic Society, and I find her to be one of the most amazing, beautiful, innovative aesthetic surgeons in the world. So it's a real pleasure. And trust me, this is at the end of a long clinic. So uh, I like you a lot, Facundo. That's why I said yes. Um, so the transition was very interesting because I knew Facundo for many years, and I knew one of his staff members, Isaac Musley, and they both kept hitting me, and I said, "Listen, I'm very happy with my charts. Let me just retire this way. Why go through this whole thing?" And finally, I think our conversion was exactly October 12th, 2020. And why do I remember that? Because that was a very painful week. Uh, but Facundo is a very unique CEO. You know, you just gave a lot of kudos to us. So let the audience know about you. You know, Facundo is a very unique CEO. He's a dear friend. He's a wonderful father and a great professional. And he does what I never seen before. He just goes to visit you, and he said, Renato, we got to do this. And he drove his truck, his camping truck, all the way from Miami to Utah. And I said, look, if you're going to do that, you're going to stay with us and you're going to help me throughout this transition, because between you and Isaac, you guys are driving me crazy. And that's what he did. And Isaac came, and they both stay in our house. And I think after a week, we had the transition done, and he made it as smooth as possible. and fun, and we had meetings every night after dinner. And I got to know him a lot better. I got to appreciate him even better about the man, not just the CEO. And he made it happen, and I couldn't be happier. And I talk about Symplast every meeting I go, and I just got back from Marbella at a meeting in Spain, and I presented about Symplast and the benefits that has offered to my practice, the ability to carry clinic here, right here in my iPhone, which I never thought I would have done that. And it's been a very interesting part of my professional life. And I thank you, Facundo, for being so difficult and not saying no. And you have really enhanced the practice. Patients love it. My staff loves it. I like this weekend, I was answering some of my patients from Spain and telling them, look, I'm here in Europe, but if you need to come in, my staff will see you. And they were just amazed at with the how modern the practice is, despite an old plastic surgeon. So I really appreciate what you did, and I thought I should tell this story because it's true and made a big difference in my life, my professional life.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Renato. And I have to say, those were very difficult times, right? It was the height of COVID. There was certainly a lot of uncertainty, and yeah, I decided to take a quick 3-day drive.
And then you're
Um,
fixing the truck in the driveway one day. And said,
I
"What are you
remember
doing
that.
under
I
the car?"
remember
He
that.
said, "Oh, I
Just doing
gotta
some
fix it."
maintenance. I'm very hands-on. That's one of my pet peeves. I love maintaining my own truck because when you're on the road like that, you rely on it. But you know, my background is engineering, software engineering, so I spend a lot of time here. So I love working with my hands every now and then. Dr. Walden, I
Hmm.
got to visit you several
Yes.
times in Austin too. At
Yeah.
that point, I was flying, so that was a little easier. But wonderful practice, and it was also great getting to know you. But tell me also, from your point of view, how was that onboarding experience? And again, that difficult decision that is to switch EMRs.
Yeah. And this was another situation where Facundo and his team came and visited me in Austin, Texas. It was a hard week in November. I like Renato. Remember the week? It was November. It was like the first week in November 2021. And what I had down the barrel of my gun was I was about to become the Aesthetic Society president, but we were on Next Tech. We were not happy. We couldn't even get anyone on the phone, although we were paying for service. And so we made the decision, now's the time to do it rather than in the middle of my presidency. So they all came down to Austin, and we did over a week. We migrated data. We got our schedule up and running. Symplast, or Facundo literally would just sit there. We have a little waiting room back kind of near where the treatment rooms are. And he would sit there and with his computer and talk to my IT guy and say, you got to upgrade. Let's upgrade to the next Mac OS system. This is going too slow. So he would interact with my IT guy, and we got up and running. And so that really helped me. And they also just provided one of the support staff that was there at my office during that week. Also helped me just some professional support as far as I knew that I couldn't do all that I do once I became president. And so she really helped me tease out, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to curate my practice as I grow older? And I realized now's the time. And she helped me she empowered me to make those changes. I sent my patients an email. I put it on social media that I was going to now do more facial aesthetic surgery. So they really helped support the growth of my practice in the direction I wanted at a time that was very critical for me, not to keep burdening myself with every single liposuction case or whatever. I had a junior associate. We kind of funneled those over to her at the time. And so that was really great. And it helped me a lot. And now we'll get to the other questions or the other big transition of my practice. But yes, I use my phone. I'm a chart person too, like Renato. Like I have to have my charts. I don't care. We could be on the best software possible. I have to have my charts, but I do check my phone often. I'm able to look at my own schedule my own patients, all that stuff, which I never would have thought I would do or want to do. But it's easy. It's all on my iPhone.
Oh, Dr. Walden, you just set me up for so many follow-ups. That's one of them. I'll stick to that last one. We call it your practice in your pocket. You literally can do everything. And the other one was empowerment. Thank you for using that word too. It's one of the things that we love to do. We love to empower the physician to actually get some of those things that before they were more of like, oh, I need my assistant to do the booking or whatnot. Because at the end of the day, you have that connection with the patient. You have the patient right there. And with 3 clicks, you can just book the next appointment. So
Yeah.
why having to delegate, communicate,
Mhm.
room for error, plus that broken service that you end up providing to the patient, well, you could have done it just there, right there and then.
Right.
So thank you. And
Mhm.
and then the other thing that you mentioned, if you don't mind, I'll try to reframe it on actually one of our values. At Symplast, we hold very highly our 5 values, and one of them is partnerships. And we partner with our clients. We really believe, and I know that it may sound cliche, but we truly believe that your success is our success. And that's the type of relationship that we establish, and that's why people like I believe at the time it was Christy that
Mhm.
was servicing your account,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
she sure that she delivered an amazing level of service that it went way beyond just like click here to do so and
Yeah.
click there to do
Mhm.
so,
It was
but
great.
actually truly partner with you
Right.
to get that done.
Really develop relationships that last a long time.
Very good. And with that, how did your life change when now you know that you can access your patients' information and stay in touch with your patients right there from your phone anywhere? And Renato, you alluded to even while you were on vacation or when you were in Spain.
Well, actually, it got busier, to tell you the truth. But individuals like Jennifer and I, we're all for the patients. We worry about patient safety. We are OCD. It's our lives are really dedicated to our practices. So it's never a vacation. So it got busier, but in the other hand, I feel much safer regarding my practice because we have a in the messaging we have a surgical team. So any questions that come, you just heard there's a ding there, and I go and I check, and I know I have 2 amazing nurses, a PA, my MA. I have a terrific team, but I still go and I check, and it's been very helpful because, for example, we had a couple of new members in the team, and I just we include them in the team message. So every time there is a different question, a strange question, I take a picture, I take a screenshot, and then I send in a different group. I say, look, in this situation, you do this, this, and this. No, the drain is not ready to be pulled out. Do this, do that. So it's been a very interesting educational process that before was very hard to do because there was only one person on call, and that person would get the call from the operator. Now you have 5 or 6 people in a way benefiting from that messaging system. So
So
it's
clearly
been
you use
been
it
a
both
positive thing.
with the patient and with your staff, so you have even internal communications.
Yes, we do. We have
Wow.
several groups in that. I don't know how you call it, but
Secure messaging.
secure messaging. Yeah, and one thing that we noticed, and I called you about this, was now we used to get messages at Sunday at midnight when can I color my hair after a facelift? Or when can I do this? And I call Facundo. I say, Facundo, this is crazy. Because people are home. They don't, they have their phones in their hands. And, oh, let me ask Renato this. And I always made an effort to answer them. So you gave me some ideas and we implemented so things calm down.
Yeah.
But
That's
You,
good.
that,
you definitely helped us improve the software for everybody else,
yeah,
where now you can put out a message where it has a disclaimer if this is an emergency or the hours of operations and so on and so forth. So that's
yeah.
fantastic.
But I think
Dr.
it sends a very strong message, Facundo, to the patients that we're always there, we're always available. And today, especially the younger people, they don't want to call, they like messaging. So it made the practice, I always say, Symplast has rejuvenated my practice because it connects us to this younger group of patients that I don't think would have happened if we didn't change to your platform.
Are you saying that we did plastic surgery on your practice?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Um, and thank you. That's also very good. Part of our mission statement reads, and I'm looking back I'm reading it actually, just to make sure that I spelled it out correctly. But it says that we empower medical aesthetic providers by alleviating administrative burdens, allowing them to focus on building meaningful patient connections. And that's really, I really relate to what you were saying, Dr. Saltz. It's great to hear that our mission is being received and enjoyed both from you, but ultimately by the patient. Because ultimately, that is your goal, right? Is you are you're not just a doctor, you're a support system to that patient that is going through a big change. So um, i'm I'm honored that Symplast can be part of that, of assisting you and your staff, empower you and your staff to actually deliver a much higher level of concierge service to your patients. Uh, Dr. Walden, could you do you also use secure messaging to that level?
Yes, I don't know that we use it as interstaff because we're very close by and we have intercom system, but we definitely use it with patients. I particularly like Symplast for the appointment scheduling module. Like when I'm at home on evenings and weekends and service calls and I talk to a patient, I can book their appointment while I'm talking to them and they'll get a text reminder. So like you said, I don't have the human error of forgetting the next morning to tell my assistant to make the appointment for this patient that had a problem to follow up with me. That helps me a lot, is to be able to do the appointment scheduling. I also am able to do my own like travel schedule. So the only time I can book travel and actually think about like, where am I going to be, on June 12th, and then what surgery I have on June 14th, and what flight do I have. The only way I can do that is on evenings and weekends. So on the weekends, I'm able to block out, and I can have blocks on my schedule. And I can block out, I'm going to be in Marbella in early October, and then going to Cartagena the next weekend, and that helps a lot because before we would have errors. If it was just me verbal, I might forget to email them. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago at ABM, I was there on a Monday on President's Day, and my staff was like, "You have a surgery today." I was like, this is before Symplast. I was like, "Oh no!" So I had to call the patient and grovel. But yeah. So there's so much human error with like travel schedules and when are you really coming home and did that flight get canceled, all that stuff. So I'm able to block my own travel. That's like my big thing. Like it really helps me a lot. Total helps me a lot. One of the other things I've liked that you guys have done is the link in bio. Like for Instagram, there's a little booking link we use, and we started to put that at the signature on our emails says book here online. And so all the people that don't want to talk on the phone, talk to a human being, they can click in and we can make blocks of time that my nurses are available for a consult for me or in the medical spa, injectables. When the nurse injector is available to me, they can block those out, and patients can then book into those spots. And so that's a really great thing, I thought. And it's good, I think, for marketing, because we put it on our constant contacts and our Instagram. Every Instagram, like, post has that at the end of it, is like, book online at link in bio. So.
Yeah, thank you. That's also a fantastic feature that actually helps your practice grow, right? Even
Oh
when
yeah.
you are sleeping, because
Yes,
some people
that's what I
will
love.
want to book it at midnight,
Yep.
and they can.
Yeah, I love anything passive, or they don't have to use the human resources, and people don't really want to make phone calls anymore, so it's good for everybody.
That's exactly right. How about from a once you put your hat of an owner, because you are fantastic surgeons, but you are also business owners. Um, at Symplast, we have focused a lot of efforts into making sure that we design a great, very accurate and robust financial module in order to keep all that your finances on track
Mhm.
and really create the insights for you to make decisions for your business. Dr. Walden or
You want me to go
Dr.
first?
Saltz?
Yeah,
Sure.
or you want me to go first, Renato, or?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the biggest thing that I've used on Facundo is probably gonna know what I'm gonna talk about, but this is just basically very new, and it's like kind of embargoed. It's not even announced yet, but I can talk in generalities right this moment in time. But in the past like 6 to 8 months, we've done a whole due diligence things, and I basically have partnered with a group in Dallas that have acquired my med spas, so I'm no longer the owner of them. Private equity backed, and they're a great group. And like I said, it's kind of embargoed at this point in time, so I won't even say. But just suffice it to say, I could never have gotten to this point, talking about making your life the way you want it to be, and how do you want to spend the next 10 years of your life. Do you want to run payroll? Do you want to sign people's PTO requests? Do you want to deal with a broken toilet in the med spa? And I had decided kind of my bandwidth was up with some of the administrative tasks. So what Symplast helped me do with my staff, I mean my med spa managers, we were able to create reports. So in order to sell a practice or partner with someone, you have to be able to show what your providers do, your ins and your outs. I call it ins and outs, like in rounds, but basically your income, your expenses, your packages, all that stuff. And Symplast helped us to be able to show the world and show brokers, show entities these things, and be able to run these types of reports. And I mean, I cannot imagine how hard it would have been not to have the ability, because I got to where I can run reports now. Like, that's amazing. Like, I can go into there and run provider reports and that sort of thing now, in this early phase, after this transition of my practice, I'm now empowered to do that. And so I really think the reporting module and the financials has helped me to make my life the way I want it to be, like in such a huge, magnanimous way.
Oh, thank you. It's
To me, the
fantastic.
greatest benefit as an owner was to somehow connect or the reports with QuickBooks. So now, instead of the traditional way that I did for 20 years, asking Tracy to
Mhm.
print the P&Ls and
Mhm.
finding mistakes and going back, and a month later, I
Mhm.
finally know how much money I made a month ago. Now it's almost instant. And I think for an owner, in how busy you and I are, Jennifer, you're in the OR, tomorrow you are in a meeting,
Mhm.
and time goes, and the ability to read these things right away,
Mhm. It's hard.
it's something, it's hard to explain.
Mhm.
How was I running a business before without this?
No, I know.
And
Yeah, for sure. I
it's
often
scary.
have that.
And you and I are on the
Mhm.
podium teaching people how to run their business.
Yeah. Mhm.
And now I said, oh my gosh,
What was I doing
what
before?
I was teaching.
Yeah.
So now it's right there. It's immediate. You can fix your mistakes. I hope we're fixing our mistakes. We're also dealing with the brokers and trying to look at the acquisitions, and it has made
Mhm.
everything so more not just simpler but transparent and real, instead of questioning
Right.
everything that I did
Mhm.
before. So I
Right.
appreciate that a
Yeah,
lot.
for sure.
And that is one of the things that we focused on when we were revamping 5 years ago, our accounting side, is even though a plastic surgery practice would qualify under being a small business, really you, it is a fairly complex business. It's a complete business, right? And being able to account for all the money that you are getting in via packages, gift cards,
Mhm.
deposits,
Mhm.
prepayments.
Mhm.
It's a business that is very different than running a plastic surgery practice that is based on insurance. Completely
Mhm.
different. When you're getting paid upfront instead of after the fact, you must account for all that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because otherwise, you are not aware of really what's revenue, what's just cash flow, and so on
Mhm.
and so forth.
Sure.
And that was one of the things that we focused on. And certainly, Renato, with your practice. You have a fantastic team, and it was great to get to that level, right? To understand that running, in your case, you have four locations, basically two locations and two businesses, pretty much on each location, and you certainly push us to design a system that can be used by pretty much everybody out there. So, with that said, now we talked about communication. We talked about, of course, scheduling. We talked about the notes, right? The EHR notes. Now we're talking about finances and all that under the same umbrella. How does that make uh, your job, and especially your staff, um, how does it affect it? How does it make it simpler for them to use the system and to do everything that needs to be done in a business like yours? Dr. Walden?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes it more streamlined. It makes it more mobile. They can carry iPads and do things in the rooms for me, or quote people in the room. If I'm backed up and my coordinator's doing a quote in her office with the door closed, someone else can go in the room with the iPad. So mobility streamlining has helped. Other than that, I know, like Renato said, when we are in a situation where I'd like to see things a different way, or I think it makes sense to do things a different way, I'll present that idea to Symplast. And I know they don't do this every single time, but they will listen with open mind. And oftentimes, if it's an improvement, they'll say, let us get this to development and we will do that for you. So they are nimble enough to make changes. If my staff says, I can't see this, I need to see like weekly view this way, they'll look at it, and if it makes sense, they will go into development stages, and they're nimble enough to do that, and they listen enough to do that. And that's what I like about that, and dealing with my staff is I think Renato, like you said, Renato has probably saved us all, because he helped you through the early phases of here's what you need with a plastic surgeon and med spa, like all of the reporting and accounting for every dime. So he probably did a lot of the footwork on that. But yeah, just kind of finessing the system. Y'all are good with listening to what our needs, and helping us. And if there's a report that we can't run, then I will ask my account manager to run it for me. If it's something very special about like something, I did back in this period of time, that with this particular breast implant, whatever it was, they'll do customized things for you too.
For us, I think, Facundo, as you know, we have replaced some senior members because they just retired, and so we replaced with much younger
Mm.
um, team members. I don't think they would uh, work with us. I don't know, but I don't think they would put up with the old charting
Yeah.
system. They are
Yeah.
so into this
Mm-hmm.
modern,
Yeah.
iPad, iPhone thing.
Yeah.
They function like that. They think like that. So it was very interesting because during the interviews, especially with Ivy, Stephanie, Kylie, their question was, "What platform do you use in your practice?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I sounded very smart. Oh, we use this and this, but imagine that 20 years ago, nobody talk about like that, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
We're like
Mm-hmm.
charts and drawings, and that
Yeah.
was our life.
Yeah. No,
And so I
I
think
think
these
that's
young
right.
partners, these young team members,
Mm-hmm.
they are pushing this to the extreme. They tell me, they show me how to do things. They show me how to set up an appointment, use the miscellaneous, don't use this one, because I'm not smart and young like Jennifer is. So but for them is natural. They walk with these iPads
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
nothing else happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Um, I have to say that all this makes me very proud of being a part of Symplast, and I got to know both of you, and you made really nice comments about myself, but also team members. But Symplast is a team effort, and we have fantastic team members working with us from development to support and and that's one of the things that also makes us extremely happy and proud. That is seeing that our determination to support you and the industry it has placed us now in a fantastic position. We are very proud to say that we have over 1,000 providers in our platform. More than 5,000 users use our platform day in and day out,
Mm-hmm.
and that has put us in a different maturity level. That we knew that after COVID we were going to get there, because one of the things that our founders had in mind when he designed or he envisioned this all-in-one platform is that we were going to relieve plastic surgeons, busy, extremely busy plastic surgeons like both of you, that you are always on the podium and traveling, from the nonsensical work, and give you the ability to work whenever you want, wherever you want. And so, with that, one last question that more freeform for either of you or both is like, did you find yourself using Symplast in a way that you didn't expect? That, like we didn't tell you should use it this way or not? Was there something that you were like, oh, I should work this myself out?
Let's see. I think for me it was really the blocks and the link in bio, the stuff that we said to use it a little bit for marketing, the marketing side of it. To me, I had to. I once I got to know it and use it, I was like, what? Why are the nail salons and the hair salons? Why can I book my haircut and my color online? And we are not doing that. And they were, and your people were like, well, you can, and here's how you do it. And it got me a link, and I kind of have to kind of move my staff along because they want to go home, right? Like, but I'm thinking about the next thing. What's the next thing we can put? How can we market this and take it to a different level? But the fact, like, I would be able to do that and add to our marketing and use that to our advantage. I think that was something that was a surprise to me in learning about those blocks, and that I could use the blocks. And the newest thing that we love is, like, this is very girly thing, but like coloring the palette, changing the palette of the blocks and the color on it. So we didn't like the red and the yellow, so we changed it. Now we have pink and lavender and all this and the black.
Oh,
And I
beautiful.
love the new blocks we have. So I'm sorry, that's really frou-frou, but really you can change the color palette for your eyes, however you want to see things per provider and that sort of thing. My surgeries stay red for blood. My black is for blacking out, that I'm not here, I'm out. Like, and so it's a real visual tool, and I like the color palette.
Oh, that's a very unique way of using it. Love
Yeah.
it. I
Yep.
might use it.
Yeah. Simple things.
Mhm.
Simple things.
To me was the to me was the and it's something I started myself, asking patients for pictures. You get a text, oh, my stitches bother me, send me a picture. And now that has expanded throughout the practice, so they send us videos and pictures. It's all HIPAA
Mm-hmm.
uh, compliant. So because we used to do that with iPhones, and who knows who got hold of those pictures. And that has eliminated a lot of potential follow-ups, because
Yeah.
before, oh, something's red, okay, come to clinic tomorrow.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things we
Mm-hmm.
solved now,
Mm-hmm.
using the pictures on secure
Easy.
messaging. I even teach patients, take a, you're gonna laugh at this, Jennifer. Take a marker and mark the red area and
Mm-hmm.
put on antibiotics and send me a picture tomorrow. Make sure it's improving, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
have to come, because, as you know,
Yeah.
Utah is so, like your Texas is so
Mm-hmm.
big.
Expansive.
Somebody's
Yeah.
5 hours from here, and
Yeah.
we used to
They
make these
can't.
people drive so we could look at this wound. And so
Mm-hmm.
it has really changed the way we are doing business, and
Yeah.
and it's still very safe, very ethical. But these poor people don't have to fly in or drive 5 hours to show a wound, or to or to have a show a problem they have. So it has really helped us and the patients.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I have to thank you tremendously for your time today, for everything you do for the industry. Because again, you guys are traveling the world, spreading the great work that you and your colleagues do, and that is admirable. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
and also for being great friends of the Symplast family.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, and have a good night.
Very good.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Jennifer.
Bye. See you later.
All
Bye
right. Bye
bye.
bye.